And welcome back to the Eastern Cape. And of course, this morning we are coming to you live from Xolobeni, and many issues to get into. And without much further ado, let me just run through the party names, and then we'll have a 1-minute opener. And that would be the parties having an opportunity to state their position and, of course, why they believe that this community and, of course, everyone across the country watching this debate this morning should vote for them. The parties this morning: the African National Congress, the Democratic Alliance, United Democratic Movement, the Economic Freedom Fighters, Congress of the People. Then we have the AIC, the IFP, the PAC, AZAPO, and of course ATM, all represented here this morning. And I'm going to give each panelist 1 minute to open, and after that, of course, it will be over to the community, who have a lot of questions to ask, not only of those who are already represented in government, but of course those who would be in government. But let's start with the ANC.
Thanks, Sakina, for this opportunity. Good morning to you and listeners. As the ANC, we wish to welcome this opportunity, which underlines the progress we've made as a country to have a free debate about our country as we're approaching the elections, which again underlines that this month is the Heroes Month, that blood was spilled in order for us to be here today. And that that history cannot be complete without the leadership role of the ANC. We did not end there. As the ANC, we have been playing a leadership role in rebuilding a country and reverse the wrongs and the imbalances created over 300 years. We have made progress over only 25 years in ensuring that we increase life expectancy, to ensure that we improve access to education. We have delivered access to electricity here in Xolobeni. Out of 31 wards, 29 wards have access to electricity. We're also delivering rural housing and fixing roads. The experience we have in these 25 years demonstrates that indeed we have got a lot to do with these achievements we've made, and that our experience will help us consolidate the achievement we have made over these years.
Thank you, ANC. Democratic Alliance.
Good morning to you all, fellow South Africans. It is a pleasure today to be here to present the agenda for DA. As the DA, we have the agenda for change. We have the agenda for all South Africans. We have the agenda that will focus in eliminating corruption and the state capture. We also have the agenda that will create an honest and professional police service that will protect all South Africans. We also have an agenda of making sure that we speed up the service delivery to all South Africans. We also have an agenda to ensure that everybody has an fair access to job opportunities in South Africa. And we also have an agenda to ensure that South African borders are secured, so that we eliminate the illegal immigration.
Democratic Alliance. I'm going to be strict on time this morning. Let's move on to the UDM.
Good morning, viewers at home. UDM puts the economy of the people at the center. The healthcare in its manifesto, the education, the safety and security, the public transport. As you can see, when we were coming here, we were struggling to arrive here because of the public transport system. The safety and security in our country collapsed, and the economy of our country, you don't know, is not absorbing the people of South Africa at large. The economy presently is creating abject poverty
That's
The
it, UDM. Thank
the
you.
political governance is collapsing.
Thanks, UDM. Moving along. EFF.
Greetings, viewers at home. As the EFF were inspired by the fight of our forebears and our forefathers, that we are fighting for the land. And that's why you will find on our manifesto we say we want land and jobs now. As the EFF, we are going to advocate the amendment of Section 25 so that we get land without compensation in South Africa, so that even people of Xolobeni, they cannot go to court to go fight for land that they want to use for their own benefit as the community. And we are saying as the EFF, we are going to create a massive job in South Africa. How are we going to do that? We are going to create special zones where we are going to force all companies and investors that at least they must employ 2,000 people. And also, we are going to make sure that things that are used on a daily basis are created, are produced in South
Thank
Africa.
you, EFF. Cope,
Thanks.
you're up.
Good morning, South Africa. It's Gavin Ferrier from COPE. COPE is here to offer you a fresh start. A reliable, responsible, accountable government that will uphold the law of this country, that will see that development does take place. Riding here today was appalling. How this community has been left in the dust. And we say to this community with COPE, we will take you out of the dust and we'll take you forward victoriously, because COPE cares about people. We don't give lip service, we care about our people. We care about education. We will not allow the land just to be taken without compensation. The Constitution of this country is here to protect you, and we'll go back to the Constitution. We are COPE, the fresh start of South Africa. Vote for COPE. Viva COPE.
Thank you, Cope. And AIC, you're up.
Thank you, Shakira. Good morning to the viewers that are here, to the viewers that are watching from home, to the traditional leaders in this area. We say salute to everybody. As the African Independent Congress, we have got a unique, what is called a unique manifesto that is a well thought and is logical, whereby we don't only promise the voters something that we know that we cannot achieve, but we commit ourselves in everything that we know that we can do. And at the same time, we are going to take along the people with us in every decision, because as the AIC, we don't believe in deciding for the people of this country, but we need the people to decide for themselves. So we'll do that in consultation with people. Our manifesto is very, very clear. It talks about many issues. It talks about inequality in this country, whereby we can see that if you go to the town that is next door here in Port Edward, it's very different from what we are seeing here. And thank you, Shakira, that you just brought us in this area why there is no roads at all. Thank you.
The IFP now.
Thank you very much. Good morning to you, Sakina, and viewers out there. If people remember very well that the IFP was the only party that wanted to the elections of 1994, simply because the land question was not dealt with at CODESA. We were cheated that we must participate in the elections, that immediately after the elections in 1994, the issue of land would be resolved. And up until today, that has not been done. In KZN, we have managed to at least protect the little pockets of lands we had under Ingonyama Trust. With all its challenges, we still dare say it is the great concept. We will develop SMMEs as a reliable means to create sustainable jobs. We will ensure that there is access to funding for small businesses through the development and establishment of a state bank. We will ensure that people that are earning between 3,500 and 15,000 have access to housing subsidy.
PAC.
Good morning, Sakina and the viewers. Let me first say, Israel, as the PAC, we are saying we cannot continue to have 55% of the population of this particular country living below poverty line. By poverty line, we mean that people who go without something to eat or knowing what they are their next meal is going to come from. In order for us to address that, African people must have a total control and the ownership of the economy. That can only be achieved by taking land and placing it under the hands of its rightful owners. That is the African people. As things stand now, 1% of the white people in this particular country are the ones which actually are being affected by poverty, simply because they have total control of land. We are saying as PAC, we must make sure that we have a free education.
Your time is up, PAC. Azapo.
Good morning. Good morning, Sakina and the viewers at home. As Zapo says, it is the only liberation movement in this country that rejected the ANC Nationalist Party World Trade Center sellout settlement. We predicted this quagmire. We predicted this mess. As a result, our people are still living below poverty lines. Azapo stands to tell the black people that we are going to repossess our land and distribute that land equally to the citizens of this country. We are going to provide a free education from primary level to university. We are going to build houses that gives dignity to our people as against these mikukus that we are having today. Azapo is saying we are going to abolish all the wasteful and useless provincial legislatures.
That's your time. ATM.
Thank you so much. Sakina, thank you. And I would like to say good morning to all South Africans. As ATM, we have carefully studied the narrative of the Republic of South Africa, the historic impediments, the structural impediments, and the man-made blunders and impediments. We have plunged our country to a state of paralysis. And we have come to a point and positioned ourselves in this manner. We are a self-funding, faith-based, and values-driven political party that is for the creation of a conducive environment for the betterment of the lives of South Africans. We have seen the reason we have taken self-funding is that patronage politics have taken center stage in the Republic of South Africa. Patronage politics have taken bread from the mouths of the smallest children that we found within our institution and the frail, and we say this needs to stop. 25 years of corruption must end. 25 years of nepotism must end. 25 years of the needs of narrow party political ideas must end. Vote ATM to see a government that will give you ethical government. Vote ATM to see a change that will be meaningful in your life.
All right, and there you have it, the opening stances of the 10 parties represented here today. Of course, there will be 48 parties contesting the elections nationwide, 26 in the Eastern Cape. But I want to get into some of the issues. I've had opportunity to just pulse some of the locals to find out what the most pressing issues are for them. We know the land issue and the right of the community to determine for themselves what to do is quite high up on the agenda. But I want to ask all our panelists here the most obvious question, the one that stares all of us in the face this morning coming into Xolobeni. How did you get here? How did you find that journey? ANC?
Yeah, thanks for the question. Thanks for the question. The journey to come here is one of the reminders of the words of our late President Mandela, may his soul rest in peace, that is struggling for freedom in building a country. Yet the more you climb one mountain, so to find another mountain. And the fact that we have got these challenges on these roads is that kind of a reminder.
Is that a road? You call that a road?
Yeah, it is. The infrastructure backlogs.
We should just please listen to one another this morning. I plead with you. Let's just get answers from our panelists.
I understand your point, Sakina.
So you agree it's not a
the kind
road?
of infrastructure backlogs that we're facing as a province, which is combined of former homelands and the former republic, cannot be compared with any other province. Your remark is typical of somebody who comes from Johannesburg. And therefore, to us, we're rolling back that backlog, which we have covered the vast part of our province, to correct the imbalances of more than 300 years. And therefore, we've registered progress. We have built access roads in some, including here, the road from Xolobeni Junior Secondary School, for instance, to the village. It has been constructed. We're busy at the N2 working with Sanral in many roads here in this area.
Mr. Ngata.
So we're committing
Mr.
now.
Ngata. And I don't want to belabor the point unnecessarily because we've got a lot of parties to ask this to, but I think it is only fair that I ask you a few of these questions as the ruling ANC. So with due respect, I'm not speaking as someone coming from Johannesburg, because I think the community of Xolobeni will agree that that is not a road. And for the first time in my life, I actually pulled out a dictionary to check what is a road. What is a road? Because that's not a road. But that comment aside, this is where I want to go with this.
Can I
want to ask a question.
Okay.
Do you think, and I understand backlogs and historical issues, but do you think it should take 25 years to build a road into this village?
As they say, Rome was not built in one day. And building a country after this destruction of more than 300 years is not a walk in the park. We have made progress in building many of the roads, and we have got plans for these particular roads coming here, like many of other challenges. We cannot fix everything at the one point. The important thing is that as the ANC, we have got a plan that which we have achieved constitute firm basis now to consolidate going into the sixth administration.
And I want to hear from the other parties as well, because yes, the ANC is one story, but this is an ANC-led government. Some of you are governing, you are part of the government of this country, and this has happened with your tacit approval and under your watch as well. So Democratic Alliance, let's talk about the road.
I think your question was very clear. How did we find the journey to get here? It was the most terrible journey. It shows the failures of the ANC, how the ANC have failed the people of Xolobeni. The road we were traveling is terrible. Even if ANC can make excuses, it doesn't justify that the people of this area still live in such terrible conditions. That is why, as the DA, even in our manifesto, we've got an agenda of speeding up service delivery, which also involves in building roads. Because we cannot, once people cannot be able to travel safely, it means our people cannot be able to access the services that they are supposed to access.
So, am I understanding you correctly? Are you saying that in order for you to make a difference in the lives of the people of Xolobeni, you need to be in government? You can't do anything unless you're in government.
That's exactly we are voicing this, because the people of this area and other parts of South Africa has given the ANC an overall majority, okay? But we, as the DA, that's why we always raise these things, to make people be aware that ANC is the failure. The alternative government is the DA. We don't just say this because you can see where the DA governs does better than ANC.
Okay, that's the DA's response. But then my question is, you had the Amadiba Crisis Committee here who took the government to court. You have civil society groupings like Section 27 who's taken government to court over non-delivery. You are sitting alongside the ruling party in chambers, in provincial legislatures, in municipal councils. You're sitting alongside them in parliament. What are you doing, UDM?
The manner in which they demonstrate the arrogance in the chambers, in the legislatures, I mean, they don't listen. We are here in Xolobeni, a United Democratic Movement is interacting with the civil society, to pressurize the government to do things in a right manner. The road that we've seen in Xolobeni demonstrated the political governance in South Africa that is collapsed. The scandals of corruption, the evidence of nepotism. You can see there are sabungas next to the road. The ANC is looking for someone who's going to toe the line in order to fix the road. So the nepotism, the corruption is making the life of Xolobeni people, to suffer. And the reason why the access road of Xolobeni you struggle to get into is because when certain people of Xolobeni disagree with the ruling elite class, is when they are being
What have you done
punished.
about it? What has the UDM done about the situation? Because, or is this the first time, and I'd like to know from some of you as you answer that question, is this the first time you've come here as well? But what have you done about it, UDM?
No, as I indicated, we interacted with the civil society. We made our motions in the councils. We've got the councillor here in Bizana, but the majority rules, as you know.
Okay.
So we can't, the UDM doesn't have money to fix the road for Xolobeni. It's the government responsibility. This neoliberal, policies,
it's the neoliberal policies, you say. EFF.
Sakina, this is our daily bread. You see the condition of road that you see today. It's our daily living. If you go all over the Eastern Cape, you will find all roads are like this. It was not something new to us. It's what the ANC government is doing. That's why we are saying as EFF, we are going to, once we take over government, we are going to create a state infrastructure company that will specifically deal with roads. I tell you, where roads were done by government, not by the tenderpreneurs, you will find quality roads. You will find that every man that is budgeted is go straight to do what is budgeted for. Now you will find the tenderpreneurs, they can't finish what they are doing because the bosses, they are waiting on the other side need money because there is a lot of bribes that are happening for people to get tenders. So this is the condition of our people that are living under in the Eastern Cape.
Do you know that for a fact, or are you speculating?
Sorry?
Do you know that for a fact, or are you speculating?
Sorry?
Do you know that these things are happening as a matter of fact?
Yes.
Or are you just assuming that that is what is going on?
No, we are not assuming. We are not assuming, Sakina, these things are happening.
So have you laid charges against those people?
Sorry?
Have you laid charges against those who are guilty of that corrupt action?
We even, as the EFF in the Eastern Cape, we have cases that we have opened. For an example, the man that was stolen from the funeral of Nelson Mandela, Tata Nelson Mandela, we have open cases. You will find in councillors, in particular EFF, who have been beaten up by the ANC people because we are raising this issue in every sphere of government when we get an opportunities. Now we are being suppressed because they are a majority, they are beating people of the EFF. But in every society now, when the EFF started to be in government, thumbs were down.
Okay.
But every time now, every society, they say thumbs up for EFF because we are the only people who are genuinely speaking the issues of the society.
Okay. Cope, how was the journey coming into Xolobeni?
Well, we can't call it a road. It's probably a track of some sort. which is the worst example of infrastructure provided for a community out in a rural area. I've travelled throughout KZN in various areas, and in KZN I assure you that at least the farmers help to keep the roads going. But in this community, sadly, the government has been so divided in what they're doing here. It's appalling.
And isn't that the point, though? The point that you're making right there? Because if all of you who are in government actually cared about communities like Xolobeni and could find it within yourselves to work together, we probably would have had a road in 25 years.
Amen. In 25 years, it's disgusting. Well, the real problem is this. Please, South Africa, stop voting ANC in majority. Bring them down to their on their knees. They can understand that they have not served you in 25 years. Let us, as collective parties, help govern this country collectively and make it a better place for all. Bring the Constitution back. Stop trying to tear it apart. Madiba brought it here to save this land, not to destroy it. And you ANC are destroying it, and you will continue to destroy it. So please, for the next 5 years, Viva Cope. We offer you a fresh start.
All right, we hear you, Cope. AIC.
Thank you very much, Sakina.
If we could just listen, AIC.
Thank you very much, Sakina. You know, it was a pleasure for you to organize this event here in this area. Because to me, or to the AIC, it seems it's a forgotten community. What actually is worrying, is a worrying factor. It's not only this road that we're driving on that worries us. Even if you go to town, the town that this area belongs to, you can see that that is not the town that it is supposed to be looking like a town. That shows you that the ANC, which claims to be giving the services to the people of this country, fails dismally. So that is why we say, as the African Independent Congress, that for the people to get to the promised land, they must vote AIC so that they can get to the destination that they want to be. Because this road, we are not going to take this road alone as the party. We're going to take this road together with the communities all over South Africa, together with the people. That is why we say we are preparing people to take the center stage.
As the AIC, were you not formed out of a border dispute issue regarding, services and feeling that you would be better served in one province than another? Is that not how you came into existence?
No. Okay, that is one of the things that triggered the whole formation of the IC, but it is not the main. It is something that triggered. But actually, what we said, we looked around the communities that we are sitting with, and we saw that the ANC does not deliver as it promises, and it always destroys. It disregards the constitution of this country. So that is the main matter that we formed.
But are you not in coalition with the ANC? In some municipalities.
Yes, if you look on those municipalities that we co-govern with the ANC, the service there is better, because when we got there, you can see that the ANC is not eating the money the way it was eating it before.
Because you are the watchdog.
Because we are watching, we are their watchdogs there. We are just pulling their arms.
That's what the AIC is saying. Let's go to IFP.
No, I think first and foremost, Sakina, that you are coming from Joburg, or you are speaking like someone who is coming from Joburg, must be condemned. It's very arrogant, especially coming from an MEC for rural development in this province. He should actually be ashamed to have made that remark, because he is responsible for development of rural areas. The journey signified a dismal failure of the African National Congress for a whooping 25 years in government. It signified, even, I must be honest, unfortunately we are not in government in this province, but I think that even the opposition parties, particularly those who have got more seats in parliament, have not been able to adequately hold the ANC into account.
And what has the IFP done in that regard?
The IFP in this province is pretty new. We have organized and mobilized the people, and we have exerted pressure. I will tell you just two stories to answer your question. In Ngobo, there's an area called Xolobeni. An old lady there whose house was destroyed by natural causes. We have been putting pressure on the ANC government. We are on the verge of taking them to court now, Because for 3 years, every time there's elections, they go to that old lady, they lie. We'll build you a house, we'll build you a house. We have referred the matter now to attorneys. We are going to take them to court because it is the right of that woman who is so old to have a house. Here in Mount Elif in Brooksneck, 3 women with similar cases, we have reported that matter. Whilst we are not in government, but we are putting pressure on them in the Department of Housing. So if ever the people of this province would do just one justice to themselves and vote the IFP into government, I am telling you, it's a decision they will never regret, because we know the ANC, we know its shenanigans, we are able to hold it into account without fail.
I hear you, IFP. Let's hear from the PAC.
Thank you, Sakina. Sakina, it's a very brilliant question to all political parties that you have asked. What have you done? But I don't think the question starts first with the political parties. It starts with the voters. Because year and year, voters are voting an organization which is unable to deliver on its mandate, which is given to people. And in that particular vote, they give them a power to be arrogant, undermine the communities, undermine political parties, using the majority in parliament. I will make an example which is in question now. Umtata is under fire. In Mthatha, there's a report which has been commissioned by the MEC, which exposes rotten corruption, pointing each and every individual which is corrupt, starting from the mayor to the sweeper in that particular municipality. And the community of Mthatha has been calling with all opposition parties to put that particular municipality under administration. There's no move. Sakina, I agree with Comrade Ngata that it's very difficult to address the difficulties which have been created over a period of 300 years. But the fact of the matter is, if you are not addressing them, you are just doing a cosmetic address to them. You are not going to be able to deliver on that. If you are not in charge of the economic resources of this particular country, you are not going to be able to cover the entire province and deliver on the mandate which is expected out of you. It is in this particular score that the PAC is saying that one of the key fundamental issues in order to address the disparities of the particular country is to take control and charge of the economy of the particular country.
Thank you, PAC.
Thank you.
All right, we still will get those answers from Azapo and ATM. We're going to go to a break. I'm just going to appeal to the audience to stay seated. Please don't leave. And you can get your questions ready, because we're going to come to that as well, because I want to hear from the community. I have many questions that I want to ask, but I think it's more important that you ask the questions that you want answered as well. Well, we'll take that break, and when we come back, we continue. Back to studio.